What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This happens to be your first time here. My name is Dave, and we cover Lego investing. Specifically today, we're going to go ahead and cover some Amazon FBA information. A couple weeks ago, I shared some crazy news that Amazon sent around these wild emails related to Lego and their FBA program, and it regated a lot of people. So I'm going to provide an update on that. I'm going to go over my recent shipment into Amazon FBA and talk a little bit about some of the crazy things that you have to deal with related to their FBA receiving department. So I hope you're buckled in. I hope that you enjoy what I have to say about this. And I guess let me know if there's other FBA related topics that you'd like for me to cover in future videos, so that I can help provide the information that you guys are looking for. So with that information, let's go ahead and start things off with the roller coaster ride of the Amazon gating, ungating nonsense. A couple weeks ago, I made that video. It's called "Is Lego Investing Dead?" or something along those lines. Clearly, Lego investing is not dead. However, at the time, I wasn't sure if I was going to continue to sell on Amazon FBA, because they went through and changed their branding related to the product, is kind of what it looked like, which meant that everyone who was previously gated, or ungated, I guess, rather, was all of a sudden going to be regated and having to reapply for ungating process. Man, it was a roller coaster ride. It was definitely a little bit emotional because I had made some big purchases. I was banking on using Amazon FBA, and I wasn't sure what the outcome of this was going to be. Now, while I was working through going back through the ungating process, which can be very tedious and definitely a pain, filled with a lot of uncertainty, I might add. It's a little bit of I don't want to say a gamble, but it's an unknown on exactly what they're looking for and how to satisfy them. I think sometimes it's based on the caseworker that you have associated with it as well. But I started going back through that process, putting the things together that I was going to need to submit. And apparently after, I think it was 3 or 4 days, something along those lines, certainly within a week's time, it was unnecessary altogether. So all of my listings or postings that I had that required reapproval on it had all been resolved. I think maybe minus one, which was a product that I didn't have anymore anyway. Based on some other people that I've heard talking about it and some other information that I've seen in some different forums, I feel like it sounds like the main thing that was going on was the listings were being changed, maybe some quality control over the listings. There was some weird character, a dollar sign Lego or something like that was related to the brand. So I don't know if it was them polishing up those listings or what, but it had something to do more with Lego and Amazon working things out. And it just took Amazon a few more days to really go through and ensure that everyone kind of got transferred over. I haven't heard of anyone who has maintained a gated state after at least the first week. So if for whatever reason that does apply to you, if you were ungated and are now still gated, let me know. Maybe there's some other criteria that they use to determine who to gate, who to not. Not particularly sure on that. But we rode the roller coaster out. We waited for a while. And luckily, the Amazon FBA platform is still going to be viable for me and my business. And that's why I sent in a huge shipment. So going to item number 2 is I sent in a very large Amazon FBA haul. I think it was a total of almost 300 different sets, many of which were very large, some of which were very expensive. I think the top of that was around a $600 set or so. This is me dipping my toe into the water in some of the higher priced items. Typically, I tried to stay in that, and I think I've stated this on the channel before, the $20 to $50 set range, so that even after the retirement and the prices go up, I'm talking the expensive sets are hopefully around $150, most of which down closer to $100 or less. while still maintaining at least my 2 to 3x return on investment after fees. This time, because of some of the other purchases I've been making, though, I had some higher dollar stuff, and I had enough of it that I figured, you know what? If I'm going to play the odds, I'm going to play the statistics, I'm going to try and send it all in. We're going to end up using this as a little bit of a trial and error learning process so that I can, A, understand how that stuff performs, whether or not there's higher returns with it, whether or not I get a high level of fraud or just returns in general because of people that want mint boxes. I'm usually pretty picky about the boxes I send in, but everyone has different criteria that they use to define mint or good, even that matter, box condition. So I sent all this stuff in. I think after fees, it was around $20,000 estimated value in goods, which I guess would mean it's about $25,000 of sale or revenue value to it. Now, it went to 2 different locations, which actually wasn't too bad. One must handle all the large box items because that's the only thing that went there. So I had 38 items that went to one place and 242, I believe must be. 242 went to the other, which gives me 280 items total. And the problem that I'm finding, and this might be a good tip moving forward, is that I feel like the last couple times when I sent in large quantities of items that are distributed over a large number of SKUs, I have a lot of problem with the receiving of those items on FBA. And this is the third item there that I'm jumping into here. So the third part of this conversation is related to the Amazon FBA receiving of my shipments or of shipments in general. I'm sure I'm not the only one that's encountered this, but it started off my package of 38 was checked in. They scanned everything, 38 items, great, case closed, everything good. My second one, the 242 items, on the second day, I believe, that they had started receiving, it went to 246, which I knew couldn't be right because I didn't send that many. I didn't have extra sets that I decided to send in last minute. Everything was very meticulously organized and documented. And if you've gone through the Amazon FBA shipments, you'll know there's a lot of detail that has to go into how you pack your boxes. And my wife and I sat down and we spent a lot of time making sure that everything was correct, double, triple checked, all of the stuff. But it showed 246 items received. So everything had the proper quantities with the exception of must have been 4 different items where they had inadvertently scanned extras, which I believe would happen if when they're checking stuff in, if an employee or an Amazon worker were to scan an item, set it down, scan a couple more items, get kind of mixed up or confused in that process and pick one of the items they've already scanned back up, scan it again, it will result in a duplicate or a additional quantity of something that you didn't really send. So everything that I had sent was accounted for, plus 4 extras. Well, here we are almost, a week later now. So June 2nd is when they started doing that receiving. It is June 9th today. I think you guys may have seen a video from me that I recorded earlier today, as a matter of fact. You're not going to see this until the following week. So we're all this weird time travel. But it's been about a week. They are still receiving it. It's gone from 246 items received to 211 items received. It is now up to 233 items received, which at first glance, I looked and said, well, great. They've only got 9 more items to get figured out and sorted. Unfortunately, when I look at the 233 items received, they have duplicate scans in there as well, which means I don't know how long it's going to take them to go through and actually get my shipment correct. The last time this happened, and this same thing has happened to me before, they ended up declaring that one of my items I shipped an incorrect quantity, meaning that I didn't ship enough of something, which at the time I knew couldn't have been the case on my side. I assumed it got lost in the mix-up and the shuffling and however they go about the receiving process. But it was a fairly inexpensive item. It was like $15 or $20. It was a very low-cost item. Wasn't going to be worth my time digging into. Now, this time, because I shipped in a lot of really high-dollar sets, when I go through that list, there's a few of these that are missing right now or non-verified as received that are up in the $100, $200, $300 area. And it gets me a little bit worried that because of however Amazon goes through this process, they might get something mixed up. And last time, the action that I had to take for these items were to acknowledge that if I don't keep up a good quantity count and ship the proper number of things, that I may not be able to ship into Amazon FBA, which is outrageous. There was no way for me to dispute, report a problem, anything like that. It was just instant smack my hand, ridicule me, let me know, or threaten to take away my seller status. It was really kind of wild. Now, again, small item, first time it happened. My percentage of shipment issues are very low because of the number of shipments versus the one problem I've had. But it's still one of those that it doesn't feel like a great system. And I need to look to see how long I have to wait before I can report any kind of problems. It's still in receiving, so it's not as though they've actually said anything is missing yet. And maybe this will all work out. But it's a little bit of a roller coaster ride. I've seen some sets that look like they show up and all of a sudden they get marked as pending because there's a buyer ready to execute on that. But then later, because Amazon rescans everything and then they don't scan some of those, they get removed from carts and are no longer pending sales because they don't have that inventory confirmed for me right now. So it's a while. The roller coaster ride continues. It's all just in a different avenue. I think moving forward, I'm going to be more cautious about the quantity of items that I send at one time as a way to try and make it easier for the employees scanning these things in, receiving these, in hopes that maybe I don't have as many problems. I do have a couple boxes that got stacked very full. There were a ton of items in it. Maybe I'd be better off shipping smaller boxes with less items, at a minimum only having one layer with the UPCs facing the top as best as I can. I don't know, folks. What do you do? I'm really curious. How do you ship in these things to Amazon FBA if you use this service? Let me know in the comments because I want this to go a lot smoother than it has been. Hopefully when I get to fewer SKUs, that might improve things. But again, it's all a guessing game. I don't have any good way to ensure my process is the right process that matches with how they anticipate receiving these. So let me know in the comments below. I think that's I guess I'll share with you that in the last week, I have sold, I think, around $6,000 of those items that I sent in. So roughly about 25% or so of the value of what I've sent in has sold. So that's a huge win. I do still need to sell a bunch more. I think I'm around, I think I need to sell almost everything that's in there to recoup all the money that I purchased stuff with during the month of May, which you probably saw in last week's video. And if not, go check that out. It's me rambling, much like many of these videos. But I also give you a tour of my garage where I show you my pop-up shop. But yeah, anyways, I'm getting into the rambling now. Let me know in the comments below what you think of Amazon FBA, what kind of challenges you've had, what you guys do relative to packaging, what you think I can do to do my process, my shipping better to be more suited with them. I need something, folks. I need help. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.